I like a good traditional tale. I used to tell them to my kids when they were small, just like my parents told them to me, and I hope my children will one day pass them on as well. There's something wonderfully innocent about them until you really start to think about it. Then you come across all kinds of little niggles. Why is every character defined solely by their role? Princess, king, miller's daughter. What am I teaching my kids when I present them characters like that? Am I telling them that their own worth, their defining impact in this life is going to be the job that they take and nothing more? Am I planting the seeds of identity that will mean that every new acquaintance will be greeted with those same tired old words? So what do you do? There's this fallacy that stories are harmless. They're just entertainment, a way to pass the time, but that's wrong. Stories program us. They imbue us with a set of values from early childhood that we rarely question. They divide the world up into goodies and baddies. They tell us to fear the wolf. One of my favourite writing exercises is to take something that we know well and turn it on its head to make the familiar unfamiliar all over again. I think traditional tales are a fantastic starting point for this. There's so many assumed values in them that they get in below the radar. Kind of changing the setting or the character or the good guy, bad guy dynamic is a brilliant way to find something new in something that would otherwise be over familiar. To find new value in such an old and moral form of storytelling. And for me, that's where I want to be. Just close enough to be recognised, just far enough that we don't get too comfortable. Why don't I show you what I mean? This is bad fiction. The Pigs. There were once 3 brothers who went out into the world to seek their fortune. First, they came across a farmer with a barn full of straw. "How much for all this straw?" they asked. "It's not for sale," the farmer told them. "It's for the cows." But the brothers would not take no for an answer. They beat the farmer and broke his bones and made off with all his straw, laughing and giggling all the way, until they came across a man with a wood store full of sticks, ready for the coming winter. "How much for all these sticks?" they asked. But the man did not answer, because he had been born deaf and none of the brothers knew a word of sign language, so they took his sticks and they beat him purple and blue until he stopped fighting back. They tipped him into a ditch to sleep it off, and down the road they went, laughing and giggling all the way. It wasn't long until they came across a house made of bricks. "How much for all these bricks?" they asked. "Please, sir," said the boy, "this is our home. It's not for sale." But the brothers only laughed. They chased him down, and when they caught him, they hung his skin from the flagpole and beat his daddy while his mother wept below. And down the road they went, laughing and giggling all the way. And the boy's mother buried her husband, and she buried her son in that old cemetery that lurks at the heart of every village, where people know what it is like to love, and they know what it is like to lose, and they know what it is like to live, and always in that order. There amongst the gravestones, the mother whispered a prayer to all those other mother spirits who sleep within the deepest moments of the earth. She prayed for the souls of her husband and her son. She prayed they would find their way to whatever lies beyond, if anything lies beyond. And she knelt upon the sodden ground among those grassy gravestones, and she howled. She howled, and something deep within the virgin earth was broken. Walls fell, foundations crumbled, gods vanished in a puff of clear-headed purpose. Unquestionable truths were stripped naked in the streets, and the bare-faced lies of power were held to account in the hearts and courtrooms of every home. In the time of the wolf, the door must be opened, or it will be torn from its hinges. And on that day, 3 brothers will crawl out from behind those fragile sheaths of paperwork piled high upon those polished wooden desks, and will peer out into the darkness from their strong, tall towers. And on that day, when they hear the howling of the wolf, you can bet your life they will shiver. You've been listening to Bad Fiction. To find out more, visit ollifrancis.co.uk. And you might be interested in my other long-form writing, the eco-fantasy Kingdom, where the old bear is dead and the 3-horned stag rules in Highwood. But until then, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for more Bad Fiction. I like a good traditional Hey, you're cheeky. I have a cat with me. Isn't that nice? Oh, blimey, that's not good.